It's just fantastic.
Captain's log, subdates 210610.3. Crewman Bork may have suggested to others that he deserves a promotion for all his hard work. When this is over and he has navigated us through this rather tricky maze, I'm going to neuralize him and then demote him all the way back to janitor, or whatever rank comes below crewman. Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with the police. Yes, the UK police are at it again. I can't help but feature them time and time again because they keep cocking up, and they keep doing it in such a way that it just makes them look like even bigger melts than ordinarily one thought possible. So for this we go to the West Mercia Police, who were mocked on Facebook after releasing a picture because they've impounded a vehicle, a scourge of UK roads and pathways, one that is quite popular but highly illegal. And no, I am not in this context referring to taxis. I'm referring to scooters. And for the sake of it, this is the picture they released. Some of you might be thinking, isn't that a little bit of overkill? And you'd be right, because the police have taken the electric scooter, the dreaded scourge of British roads, and stuck it on the back of a recovery van. You know, one that's normally used for cars. There's a bit of space there. I guess they could fit a few scooters on this to impound. There is in the United Kingdom a rise in popularity of these e-scooters. Hell, my sister has one, and I've tested it. It is jolly good fun, zipping around at 20 kilometers an hour. But in the UK, current e-scooter law is quite irritating. The Department of Transport says that they are classed as powered transporters, which means they meet legal definitions for motor vehicles. Therefore, they must meet certain requirements in order to be used on the road, which would include having insurance and conforming to, air quotes, technical standards. But as e-scooters do not conform to technical standards, they are considered illegal to use on British roads. Interestingly though, the UK police don't generally get involved with these, not just because they are growing in popularity like the Segway, the hoverboard and the GoPeds, which are combustion engine powered kick scooters. Powered unicycles, U-wheels, all these devices are growing in popularity. It will become inevitable for the law to change to adapt to, well, let's say permit these to exist. UK law is incredibly strict at the best of times. Do try to remember the UK doesn't have citizens, they have subjects of the crown, and those subjects are controlled. Sheeple crowd control is a great example of it, and I just want to poke fun at the police, mostly for that picture, but also because of the utterly ridiculous laws in place. Essentially, only on private property are you permitted to use an e-scooter, because you can't get road tax for them, and you can't get insurance for them. They do not meet safety regulations, so you get a £300 fine, 6 points on your driver's license if you have a license. You could even get prosecuted over an e-scooter. Anyway, to move on from that, we're going to go from one mode of transport to another. And for this, we go to Noah's Ark. I'm sure everyone's heard this utter nonsense tale. 2 of every animal on one rather big boot. Floods, God's wrath, blah blah blah, start anew, blah blah blah. When I was first told this tale as a child, my first thought was, but genetics. Surely all that inbreeding would just cause problems, right?
Oh, it's just an allegory.
I don't care. Some of you may well have heard of Kent Hovind, who I believe did in fact make his own Noah's Ark. Kent Hovind has been torn apart over many years by Logic. It's quite something. Well, a version of Noah's Ark was constructed, and it was bought by a Dutch owner called Aad Peters, who wanted to create a talking point for people from all backgrounds by using this as a floating museum. This is the Ark in question. It looks quite cool, doesn't it? I can certainly see it being used as a restaurant, which would be fantastic. Or maybe a hotel for all the drunk students. Well, the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency in Ipswich, where this was in fact located on the waterfront, have decided that the vessel is not safe to leave the waterfront and have therefore detained Noah's Ark and they're going to keep it land-bound until those deficiencies have been addressed and corrected by its owners, which means one day Noah's Ark could in fact be determined to be seaworthy, which would be quite amusing for a place that just shows loads of statues of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel nativity scenes, when really what you want in there is a couple rhinos and 2 ants, because that's how this works. As we're transitioning from one topic to another, the next one concerns art, which is a handy transition from a floating museum, potential floating museum. For this we need the artist Salvatore Garot, an Italian artist who recently made $18,000 at an auction for a particular sculpture called Io Sono, which means I am. Now this particular piece has garnered a bit of criticism because it has to be displayed in a very specific way, at a very specific time. So it has to be a private room, 5 foot long, 5 foot wide, but the lighting and the environmental controls in that space are optional. And there's a reason for that, a really good reason. Now Garot is considered to be a sculpture, so these particular pieces you'd think would be made out of some fantastic stone or clay, porcelain perhaps. You'd be wrong. I want you all to take your hand and open it. Make sure there are no rings on your hands, just cold or warm flesh. That's all you want to see. On top of that is exactly what he used in his sculpture. Now you might now be a pedantic little twerp and say, air. Wrong. If you're not being a pedantic little twerp, the thought that came into your mind was, he used nothing. And you'd be correct. His sculpture is invisible. And the reason that the environment controls and lighting are optional is because no one can see what he made. Now he has claimed it to be immaterial, meaning that it either doesn't exist or only exists in the mind of its creator. Garot believes that this is more like a vacuum, the sculpture that is, saying that the vacuum is nothing more than a space full of energy, and if we empty it and there is nothing left according to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that nothing has a weight, therefore it has energy that is condensed and transformed into particles that is into us. After all, don't we give shape to a god we have never seen? Oh look, that ties into the Noah's Ark. That's cute. I do want to point at something. The man is a sculptor, and he made nothing, when in reality, actually, he made £12,959 when you convert it from US dollar to UK pounds. He made nearly 13 grand doing nothing. Art has gotten shite, don't you think? It's beyond levels of pretentious that I'm willing to accept. This is bullshit of the highest variety. So to our final story, we're going to go with a big swerve from the sort of continual transitions here to Itzel Ramirez, who is a very passionate Amazon delivery driver. She's a real go-getter type. She loves her job, she does her job well, and she doesn't like it when anyone dares challenge her on the integrity of Amazon and the fact that she herself represents Amazon. To further prove this point, in the Bay Area, she drove a package to a woman's door on Thursday, but she was slightly delayed, so the woman waited outside the apartment complex for 15 minutes for this package. Hell, they even spoke on the phone about why there was a delay, and Ramirez told that woman, "You need to check your white privilege." And you are right to do so. You tell that pensioner who's boss, Itzel. Ramirez eventually did in fact deliver this package to this woman, and the woman told Ramirez, "You don't need to be a bitch about it." Now, as she did take it upon herself to insult Amazon because she has just insulted a driver for Amazon, Itzel decided the only way to deal with this would be to turn around, calmly approach the white privilege loaded pensioner, and land several haymakers on her, just to ensure she understood. You don't insult Amazon, yo. Currently, Itzel Ramirez is in jail on a $100,000 bail because of the assault that was caught on camera. If anyone didn't get that I was joking before, I was. Hell, if she goes to prison over this, we will do a Halls of Injustice, just saying. Could be fun. It'd make a nice change from all the sex offenders and murderers we keep covering. Every so often we get a nice little tax evader, and it's like,
Oh, we got one, boys!
Anyway, as we're done, I would like to know what you think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. I shall be streaming on Twitch tonight some murder fun time. If I don't see you there on Twitch, linked below. Have a fantastic Thursday, and thank you all very much for listening.